Hi gals, good job on the discussion and the definitions of morals and ethics. I've recorded some commentary here and I'm trying to put them along with excerpts of your slideshow. So listen to what one another contributed. I think we've collectively come up with two things: the importance of community and the obviousness of variety in definitions of ethics. So that will be an important observation for us to use moving forward. I'm also including in this a little explanation of where applied ethics, which is what this class is mostly about, fits in the field of philosophy. So I hope this is helpful as well. Enjoy!
So one of the things that I'd like to help you understand at the outset of this course is what applied ethics is and where it fits in the field of philosophy, which is where you would take it if you continue to study ethics in college. So philosophy is a big academic discipline, and it is divided into metaphysics, epistemology, logic, and ethics. Metaphysics is the headiest of these four main parts of philosophy. It's what is reality, what is truth, does any of it matter, questions like that that sort of explode the boxes that we typically think inside. Epistemology is the study of meaning and symbols and how language constructs those things. Logic, you may be surprised to find out, is this whole separate subfield of philosophy. It's the study of argumentation, because in academia, philosophy is based on assumptions of rationalism, which we are starting to look at this week. And so when you have an ethical argument, you do things called ethical proofs, which look a little bit like geometry proofs, but they're using statements, using words, verbal statements, rather than mathematical statements. And we'll explore this a bit. It's a lot of fun and pretty challenging. And then finally, there's the field of ethics itself, which is the study of right and wrong. Ethics is divided into metaethics, which asks big questions, sort of like metaphysics, that make the other two fields seem somewhat trivial, but they also don't have any answers. So metaethics questions are things like, is there really such a thing as good or right? And is there such a thing as bad or wrong? And does any of this really matter anyway? And it's important to ask those questions, but usually people like to make some assumptions and then work from there, and that's where we have descriptive ethics and normative ethics. Descriptive ethics is what anthropologists do, or any of us could do as if we were behaving as an anthropologist does. Descriptive ethics means a person looks at a culture, most helpfully not his or her own, and describes the rules of right or wrong, the rules of ethics and morality that apply in that society, and the behaviors and the norms of those things. And in descriptive ethics, there's not judgment placed upon a society's ethical norms, but just a description is made. Whereas in normative ethics, which is where we are heading, it's often a study of a society and a judgment upon the norms of right and wrong in that society. So it's a study of what is normally good and normally bad in a society. And as you'll see when we look at cultural relativism, it can often mean judging something to be different and okay, and sometimes judging another culture's norms of right and wrong to be different and not okay. Finally, we're drilling down still inside normative ethics. We have general ethics and applied and professional ethics. General ethics simply means looking at a society. What are the general rules or norms about what is good? So, for example, not to harm is considered a high ethical value in many societies. That would be an example of a general ethics statement. What we will zero in on a lot in this class is applied and professional ethics. And this simply means, how do you apply what we've learned here and here and here and here to real life situations in our world today? So some of the most common examples of where you see applied and professional ethics, and some of you in your definitions, you chose the Business Dictionary definition of ethics, which is perfect because it is in the professions that we see applied ethics most obviously. So you see applied ethics in every walk of life, in every profession that you might engage in. There are ethical norms and ethical standards, and often ethical training. And I would add to this list of business, medicine, science research, legal ethics, military ethics, government, journalism, and environment. I would also add topics that we'll look at that are not in those boxes so neatly, but issues of class and privilege. We will also look at issues of gender and ethics, and don't know where this fits, but we'll be looking at animal rights. So I hope this helps you to understand where this all fits, and that the universe of philosophy is a big one, and I hope this course whets your appetite to go and explore more. Hi, this is Dr. Bradley, reflecting on the contributions that you all made to definitions of ethics and morality on the Google presentation, which was super cool, and also your posts where you took a stab at defining ethics and maybe figuring out what's different between morality and ethics. And as you have quickly found out, there's not one definition, and it's actually pretty hard to pin down. But I wanted to observe several things that came up in a number of your posts. So one thing I noticed is that a lot of you talk about community. In the discussion, Sarah talked about ethics being a standard that individuals hold themselves accountable to within their community. And she also talked about norms. Leo talked about things that are ethics being, morality being something it's within a system, sort of like a community. And somebody else, can't remember, talked about there being a worldwide sense of, Lainey, their set of worldwide ethical standards per se, and that morality is more personal. Sophie pointed out that because ethics are influenced by culture, that there might be variations across the globe, which is something we'll definitely getting into later. And finally, I liked Michelle's distinction between ethics and morality. It resonated with me that the two are similar, but that ethics is community morality, and morality itself is founded on a personal level and is forever changing. I thought that was an interesting distinction. So good job, folks.